Okay, this is for those of you who are following the Lindsay Clancy case. Oh, and if you have been following it, I would really love to hear your opinion about all of these women who are um, they're projecting their emotions onto Lindsay. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of women in comments everywhere I see, oh, I had depression, I had postpartum, and I'm not discounting that they did or they didn't, but they're like, oh, Lindsay was suffering. And if that were true, I think I'd have a little compassion for her myself. But their experiences does not mean that's what she had. So far, every single professional has said she had depression and she had anxiety, but these only manifested when it was time for her to go back to work. When she wasn't working, she was fine. She wasn't taking the medications. She would try to take some 1 or 2 days, and then say, oh, it's not working, and then of course because of that there's a long list of medications, but she wasn't taking them all at once. And this is what people are not getting. They're like, look at all that medication, and it's like, okay, A, it wasn't a long list, and B, she wasn't even taking them. you know and she supposedly took some, I guess, in her attempt to you know commit suicide. Screw YouTube. I mean, I don't get paid for these videos anyway. I'm tired of people dancing around subjects. It is what it is. And there's proof. The blood spatter analyst showed that there was her blood smeared. So it was transfer stains from her onto the siding of the house between the window that she was getting out of and then the first floor window. So it's proof she didn't jump. She didn't go flying out. She got out of the window and hung there. And then her hands either lost grip or she let go and she slid. There's proof. Blood transfer, her blood only, onto the tiles on the side of the house. And then I guess there was a window well on the ground. And so chances are she probably hit that wrong, which then caused um, her paralysis. And I mean, everything that she's been through, it can be explained. And then the defense attorney, oh, this was last week or whatever, was trying to make a big to do about her coding. Oh, she coded. So wasn't it a real suicide attempt? No, no. She could have coded because of the injury, which was, probably due to shock. She could have coded because they were giving her medications. There are lots of reasons, but if she hadn't put herself in that situation, she wouldn't have coded. You know what I mean? If she wasn't dangling from the window and then either, like I said, either let go or she couldn't hold on anymore. And I'm like, this woman strangled with exercise bands her 3 children, strangled them, wrapped it around their neck several times, and then tied it. The youngest, I think, was 7 months old. And then she did superficial cuts to her arms, superficial cuts to her neck. And the blood spatter proved that there's, a large blood stain underneath the window that she climbed out of on the floor, but the blood spatter proves that she stood there letting the blood drip into a pile, into a puddle, not a pile, into a puddle. And so it looked worse than what it was. And my gosh, they're not seeing this. And, the attorney, Reddington, I guess is her attorney's name. There's something I cannot stand. It's like a huge pet peeve of mine when defense attorneys are absolutely unknowledgeable, and he reads a little bit so he gets this much knowledge, and then he thinks his questions are this big. and he comes across as an uninformed imbecile, and he tries to attack the witnesses, and every single witness, every single medical person, every psychiatrist, every doctor, every friend of hers, her own ex-husband, even the nanny, everybody has said she was not depressed. She was a great mother. Everything was fine. If you're majorly depressed, somebody's going to notice, okay? At one point, somebody's going to notice, and nobody, even her own self-reporting said, yeah, and she was depressed because she couldn't sleep, and she was depressed because she had to go back to work, and her kids were unruly. And I don't doubt 3 young children are unruly. Let's face it, you have 3 little ones, they're going to take you for a ride. But I don't know, these cases frustrate me, so I don't even know why I'm watching it. But what are you guys thinking about this? There's so many, like I said, so many women who are projecting their own experiences onto Lindsay and assuming that Lindsay was going through what they went through. And from all accounts and everything that's been documented, and even Lindsay's own words herself, show that she wasn't that depressed. Like I said, she only got depressed and anxious when when it was time to go back to work. And that was something she had done with at least 2 of her children that I remember hearing in this case so far. So that's a pattern. And if she didn't want to go to work, she could have just simply quit, right? And not killed her children. But to kill her children and then give herself superficial cuts or lacerations, and then to climb out of a window and dangle, and then now she's accidentally paralyzed, because I don't think that's what she was trying to do. She sent her husband out on a mission to go pick something up at a pharmacy and then dinner. And he called while she's killing the children. He's making a phone call to her. She stops long enough to answer the phone and pretend everything's okay. And she's in the middle of strangling her children to death. And somehow it's all because she has postpartum depression, or she has thyroid disease, or she has, what else did this defense attorney say? Oh, postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis. He kept trying to push that for a long time. Now, postpartum psychosis, otherwise known as PPP, is very specific. You have to meet a very specific criteria, and she didn't hit one of those markers. Now, for depression, the vast majority of women, when you go through birth, are going to be depressed at one point or another because you're exhausted, your hormones are all over the place. So it's to be expected. But oh my gosh, this attorney is trying to throw everything out there, just hoping something sticks to the wall. It's actually kind of pathetic. But anyway, right now, that's my take on this Lindsay Clancy case. And, my personal opinion is that she's as guilty as sin, man. That woman killed her children and then faked her own suicide attempt. And, she just didn't want to be a mom. And I don't know what her marriage was like, but it's like I think she needs to be held responsible, and I don't think it should be sitting in a Cushing mental facility. She needs to pay the price for what she did. I hope the jury sees this, but we'll never know. So let me know what you guys think.